We love to find objects and props, demonstrations, unique things that will help us as we teach. A few years ago, I saw a demonstration in a workshop that was focused on simple science and physics. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, this can be a very useful tool in trainings. And it has. We use it a lot. It's sometimes called the 6 nails. It's simple to set up. We carry a block of wood that has, like this, that has a hole in the center that we made just by hammering one of the nails into the block of wood and then pulling it out. We want it to be nice and sturdy when we put the first nail in. And in your hand, keep 6 other nails just like it. They're all the same. They need to be big enough to be able to see, the participants be able to see, about 3 inches long, and they all need to have a fairly wide head on it, since that's where the physics comes in. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then you ask one of the participants to come up and to help you. Should be someone who enjoys solving problems or figuring out puzzles. And then we give them one identical nail and ask them to balance one nail on top of the one that's already standing in the block of wood. They can't pick up or move the block of wood or touch the nail that's already standing there. Fairly quickly, the participant will put one nail on top of the other, and they'll find a way to make it balance, and the task is finished. We all clap, and it seems like we're done. Here I might say to everyone, sometimes God might ask us to do something that seems fairly easy. Maybe we've done it before, and we go right to work without even thinking about it. And you could even give them some really everyday examples of obedience. But other times, God may ask you to do something a little more challenging. Then pick up another nail and take it with the one they've already placed, and ask the participant now to balance 2 nails on top of the one that's standing there. Allow them some time to try for a couple of different ways. Other participants might offer some suggestions, but don't hurry them. During this time, we start to talk with all the participants about how God will ask us to do something that we're really not sure how to do it. So usually we just try to be obedient by doing what we've done before. We try everything we can think of. We feel like it's my responsibility to get this done. Have you ever felt that way? Yeah. By now, some of the participants have figured out a way to put 2 nails balanced on top of one, and others will just be a bit frustrated. Say to everyone, sometimes God asks us to do something that just seems way too big for us. Now I'm going to give you 6 nails to balance on top of that one nail. Go ahead and try. This is absolutely possible. God will never ask you to do something that's impossible. It might seem impossible to us, but He knows the way, and it's absolutely possible for Him. Now, as the participant is struggling, you can encourage them. Keep trying. Don't give up. You can do it. Until finally, they give up. It's impossible. I can't do it. Now, here's where you have the opportunity to speak to their hearts. Don't miss this. This is a tool that you can apply to many different situations that they are facing right then. You don't need to use this object lesson the same way every time. I've used it when we were talking about opportunities for evangelism into the community, into a community that's very difficult and it seemed too big with too many obstacles. or when we're sharing about needs in the community and the lack of resources just seem to keep them from doing anything. We've used it when there were problems at home or in the church with relationships and we're ready to give up. It's impossible to get past this. Or even when we're talking about personal issues that just seem too big or too complicated to get over. We don't have all the answers, but God does. And He knows the way. And a couple of verses that you can use here. Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways like my ways, says the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." God often uses means that make no sense to us. He says, march around the city 7 times, or put torches into clay pots and blow trumpets. One time he said, send the choir out in front of the army to meet the enemy, or send most of your soldiers home and only fight with 300. God doesn't give us a formula because He wants us to trust Him. He will tell us what to do. Proverbs 19:21 says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. We have lots of ideas and experiences, but we need to learn to trust Him and His way for this situation. And Isaiah 46:10 says, I make known the end all the way at the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say, God says, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. God has a plan, and He will accomplish it as we are obedient. Use this time to help them let go from trying to figure things out on their own, to begin to ask God for His good plan and what He can accomplish. It's not impossible with God, and He will show us a way forward. Then we teach the same participant how to do this trick. We have to think out of the box. That's unexpected. So we start on the table beside them, beside the problem, something we didn't even consider before. We put one nail down, and then we place 2 nails on each side like this, with the heads over the first one. Then place the final nail over that first one that you put down. It goes in the opposite direction, and it's cradled between the 4 nail heads. See, there is a strategy. It's organized. God has a plan. He does everything decently and in order, and we can trust Him and His good plan. Do you think this will work? Can we balance 6 nails on top of 1 nail? And then you pick up the nails by primarily focusing on the very first nail that you put down. You put pressure on the 2 ends of that nail, and then you carefully transfer it. Gravity will keep the first nail holding down the heads of the other 4 nails and will prevent them from sliding out. Then, as you transfer the whole structure to the top of the 1 nail, it will stand there freely. There'll be lots of applause at that point. And as with anything we teach, the participant hasn't learned it until they apply it. So let her try it right there in front of everyone. There will be even more excitement, and this will make it fruitful. God knows the way ahead. His ways are not like our ways. Take some time to pray and seek His face. Proverbs 3 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will make our paths straight. I hope you'll look for opportunities to use this little illustration, not to show a trick, but as an opportunity to bring hope and trust in our great God.